Hi, I'm Brittany Rizzo, and welcome back, or nice to meet you here on my Only Friends podcast. On today's episode, I met Braeden de la Garza. Starting at the age of 7, Braeden has performed in multiple stage productions and starred in numerous projects, both large and small. Recently as Prince Emmett in The Quest and Brent Chambers in Cruel Summer on Freeform and Hulu. You can currently see him as Detective Rivers on the hit show Elspeth. Not only does he enjoy being on camera or in front of an audience, but Braeden also enjoys writing and recording his own music. This episode reminds me of the Friends episode, the one with all the resolutions. Braeden talks about the unique way he learned instruments and not vibing with his teacher, just like Joey wasn't loving Phoebe as his guitar teacher. I ended up recommending Braeden to watch this episode during our conversation. Braeden had such great energy. We talk about the importance of gratitude, not having a plan B, and how if you really love to create, you just have to do it. Please enjoy my conversation with Braeden de la Garza.
Should I do that?
Yes.
Okay. Send request.
Oh my gosh. So my last interview never happened. The file didn't compute on my computer. It took me like 6 hours to get it back, and I was having a full-blown meltdown, and I was just like, this can never happen again. So now that's what I have to ask everybody.
It's a good idea.
Also, like, I feel like I kind of know you, but not, I don't know how. Like, I feel like I don't know. Like, you look so familiar to me in like my inner circles.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I saw that. How do you know Cameron Copperthwaite? Do you know him?
Yeah, I know him through a bunch of weird channels, actually. My good friend Emma was good friends with him.
Okay.
And then one of my best friends, his name is Gray. We did a short film down in Louisiana, I think it was like 2 years ago. And we cast him in it off of my friend Emma's recommendation. So then, I spent that time with him doing that down there. And then I see him like here and there, like a birthday party or
Yeah,
him around all the
I love
time.
how that works. His
Yeah.
his girlfriend is one of my best friends. So
Mm,
that's how I know him. And then
really?
he's been on the podcast. So when I was looking at your Instagram through all the stuff, I was like, wait, how do they know each other? But I feel like he's like interconnected to so many people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, young Hollywood, everyone knows everybody. It's
I know. And how old are you?
24.
My God. I am 10 years older than you. I just turned 34 like 3 days ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It feels very strange, like, because I don't feel 34. I still feel like I am 24.
24 doesn't feel. I was talking to my mom the other day actually about it. I was like, I feel like I'm like 16, maybe
Yeah,
17 in my head.
yeah.
I feel like I've just like gotten better at pretending to be an adult over the years, but I still like I feel the same as I did when I was 16. My mom,
Yeah,
well, I still feel like I'm 28.
right.
So,
Well, I also think it's this weird thing in LA too. Like, we kind of just don't ever really age. Like, we're all just a bunch of big kids.
yeah.
And like when I go back to my hometown, which is Las Vegas, I'm like, wait, you guys all like are like so adult. Like, they seem so much older because they have houses and children and they're married. And I'm like, but here in LA, that's like so that you're like a
Yeah.
unicorn if you have all of that here
Yeah,
now.
yeah, for sure. No, I go home to Texas and it's like half the people I graduated with already have houses and kids and are married and
Yeah.
crazy to me.
But then I also feel like in a way we're more mature.
Yeah.
Like when you're young growing up in LA, like I feel like you have to, especially as a working actor, like you have to become an adult so fast
Yeah.
that you're like, I'm 24, but people like oh, you're a baby, but then you act so much older because you've had all this responsibility from a young age. So it's very confusing.
No, I agree. I think it's like a matter of like a lot of the people that I went to high school with and now have families and houses. It's like kind of they graduated college and it was like, well, I guess this is what we do now. So like they just
Hmm.
didn't have to go out into the world and kind of figure out other things, which
Right.
is fine. But I feel like as an actor, especially living in Los Angeles, it's like not really an option to like have a family and a house in Los Angeles. You kind of
Right.
just have to figure things out
Yeah.
as you're going. And I don't know, I feel like if you've made the move here and you're trying to make things work, like that's your priority.
Yeah.
At least for me, like that's family. I want a family one day and a
Yeah.
house but like that's not on my mind right
Yeah. Yeah,
now. Yeah.
I agree. And what's interesting is I just watched your episode of Elspeth.
Mm,
And another thing I'll say is like I the way how grounded you are and how you carry yourself, I thought you were my age. Like I would not think you were like a 24. 24 seems so young to me
good.
now.
Good.
But
I'm happy.
like you don't but it's hard because it's like who looks old? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's it's like you have to tiptoe around. I have to tiptoe around what I'm saying because I don't want it to, oh my God, 34. So because it's not.
Yeah.
But you seem, which is interesting in casting, right? Because it's like you are so young, but you have this energy of somebody who is older.
Yeah.
But it's also a good thing because you could play a high school kid or a college kid or a detective.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I feel like depending on the day, like some days I wake up and like my face is a bit puffier and I look like and then like some days I'll wake up and I feel like I look 29.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since
If I go to bed past midnight, I wake up looking 65. Like
like
can't do that anymore.
it's weird. And like when I booked that role in Elsbeth, I remember I thought I was not at all gonna get that role because I did like description was like 30 to 35.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, I'll just not shave and see if having some stubble makes me look a little older.
Hmm.
It was one of those, I mean, as an actor, you do a bunch of audition tapes all the time and you kind of, a lot of them are throwaway, like you don't really expect anything. So I was shocked when they cast me as this. I mean, they never like refer to my age in the episode, but like in
Right.
the original description, it was like 30, like mid 30s.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would have thought you were my age. That's why I was like, wait, like the internet isn't always accurate. So, so I was like Googling and I'm like, wait, how old is he? I was so just like, but he looks young. So yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
It's funny because I was at home in Las Vegas with my parents and they were watching Elspeth and they love that show. And then literally as I'm watching it, Heather had posted that you were going to be on it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I want him on the show right now.
Good. Thank you,
It's a
Heather.
fun little show.
Yeah, it is. It's a really fun little show. I had never really done anything that's kind of in the like one, it's like kind of a procedural, but it's like a fun, unique procedural, and then it's like all
Yeah.
comedic
Yeah.
and it was just a really fun process to make because they're like a well-oiled machine. And it
Hmm.
was like getting on there. It felt super, not that other things I've done aren't super professional, but it was just so efficient and they knew what they were doing
Hmm.
and they knew the tone they wanted. Like it was a really nice experience and very low stress. Like I just got to do my job and not worry about anything else.
Amazing. And it looks like there's room for you to come back.
Yeah, hopefully. I did another episode that should be out in the next few weeks and then they got picked up for a season 3.
That's
So
amazing.
hopefully Detective Rivers comes back and
I've got a good feeling. I think the relationship between you and Elspeth is
yeah.
fun.
No,
It's a lot
I
of
do
fun.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about how, like, where this all started. I mean, you're from Texas.
Yeah.
How do you get from Texas to Los Angeles?
So it was kind of I remember when I was young, I think I like first really was thinking of being an actor when I was like 7 or 8. I remember me and my mom used to like sit in bed together and just watch TV all the time when I was a little kid.
Hmm.
And I think it was like Army Wives, I remember was her big show. And we would sit there and I remember just seeing it's like I gained consciousness in this moment that the kids in the show are acting and not really just like normal kids. And I just remember seeing someone my age on a show like that and thinking that I could do that. I was like, well, that's easy. I could do the same thing. And so after that, it was just like I would act when I could, and
Hmm.
like middle school plays and things like that. And then I remember when I was in high school, I had done all these musical theater things, and when you're growing up in Texas, it's like a set path of like
Hmm.
you do high school theater. They have this thing called Texas Thespians, where all the Texas theater kids come together and it's like a big convention and you audition for a bunch of reps from a bunch of universities to try to get into their program. And I remember my senior year, I got a spot to do that. and like auditioned for colleges, and I wanted to go to OU and be a part of their program and do all these things. And like 5 days before, I just had this like realization. I was like, I don't want to go to college for this. I don't, it's just not what I envisioned myself doing film and television. That's what I'd want to do since I started. And I was like, do I really want to pay a bunch of money to go do 4 more years of theater?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'll learn a lot, but it's like, I feel like I'm not really advancing professionally the way I want to be. And I remember I gave up my spot in this like audition thing for colleges, which was this huge. I remember my theater director, bless his heart, I love him a lot, but I remember he was like, "Are you sure you want to do that? Like this is
Mm-hmm.
the big opportunity for you." And I remember a bunch of kids made fun of me in my like, senior theater classes because I was like, I'm just gonna try to do this on my own. But yeah, I let that go and I decided I'm just gonna try to find any acting work I could. So I was scouring like Facebook and Actors Access and all those things that, everyone tells you to do. And I just kind of started working on whatever I could. And I remember the first thing I ever booked, I was an extra in a bike shop commercial in Austin, Texas. And I remember calling my family and being like freaking out. I was like, I booked acting work. Like, this is crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm in it for 30 seconds. I can't find the commercial anywhere. It was a locally playing thing. But it was stuff like that for a long time. Like 2 years of just like little commercials here and there. I'd have one line in something or like a really low budget movie, or I'd have a scene or two. And then I remember I booked this movie that was shooting in Dallas, and it was a SAG movie. It was a huge thing. It was SAG. I don't know why they were shooting in Dallas. Nothing ever shoots in Dallas. But I had like 6 lines in it. It was enough for me to get a SAG card if I wanted to.
Nice.
Big deal. And I went and shot that movie. And at the time, I had no reps. I don't even know how to find reps or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. But this guy, his name is Joel Michaely. Shout out to Joel Michaely. He's an actor. I was changing out of costumes. He was changing into costume. And he starts talking to me and he's like, "You've got a great look." And like, like, congrats on making the movie. And he's like, "Do you have any representation?" I said, "No." And he was like, "Well, I'm good friends with Amber Horn and Danielle Fierro. They're casting directors out in Los Angeles, and they're working on this pilot. I think it was like a spinoff of the show The 100.
Mm-hmm.
Working on this pilot for this spinoff. You should totally audition for it. I'm gonna tell them to have you send in a tape." And I freaked out because I had never auditioned for anything like real at that point.
Right.
And I remember I like drove home from that. He called me and said, "I need a photo of you, but like right how you look right now." Because I guess I was using some really bad head that I took in like my bedroom. And so remember I pulled over to the side of the road and I I like took a selfie on the side of the road to send to him. And then I was just excited to hopefully have an audition. And then like 3 days later, my now manager, Eric Kine, called me. I was like, "Hey, I'm really good friends with Amber Horn and Danielle Alfiero. I heard about you through them. They got a little blurb on you and sent me a picture. Are you going to be in LA anytime soon? I'd love to meet with you." So I remember sitting on my dad's couch freaking out that I just had a meeting with reps of any kind.
Right.
And so I have some family that lives out in LA, and I was coming to visit them for Thanksgiving. And so I was like, "Sure, I'll be there in like a week." It fell into place really, really naturally. And I came out here, I met with Eric, and he was great. And he was like, I want to take you on as a client. You fit this need that I don't have in my roster right now. It just like all randomly kind of happened for me to get reps.
Mm-hmm.
And then what really brought me out here is I booked this show called The Quest that's now gone. It's been wiped from existence. It was on Disney Plus.
Why? Why
It was
was
one
it
of those like
white?
tax write-offs where
Oh,
they removed a bunch of stuff. It was one of them.
God.
It was a really interesting, like a very weird show. Um, but I was still self-submitting even though I had reps, and it was on Actors Access. It's like untitled adventure show.
Yeah.
And I went through like 4 stages of auditioning for it, still not knowing what it was. And then my manager who was new at the time to me, called me one day and he's like, "Why did I just get an offer for you for Disney Plus? I don't
You're
understand
like,
what."
you're welcome.
And I was like, "Well, I didn't even know it was Disney Plus, but that's I've been auditioning for it."
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my first big thing, and I went and I did that. And it was like this half reality, half scripted series. It was like a very interesting dynamic. I was playing Disney Prince. It was like a whole thing. But that gave me enough money and like a good credit on my resume to where it made sense to move to Los
Yeah.
Angeles. And I had been working in Texas to like save up for it. I worked at a trampoline park like 80 hours a week
Oh
for
my
like
God.
2
Did you
years.
see so many people get injured?
Yeah, I've seen more gruesome broken bones than I
Oh God.
ever see. I mean, it was like the stuff that would happen there. It was like every day. And I worked my way up to being like the assistant general manager of the place at like 19 years old. So I was like the one dealing with these injured
Oh
children.
man.
It was crazy. But that's how I got here. Yeah, it was like a very long and winding series of weird things that happened.
Yeah, but what I'll say is that like I think it all worked out for you because like going back to what you said, like you were just so excited and so grateful for
Yeah.
every little thing. And I think that's so important because like I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend. Like, I don't, if I'm the body in the bag, I'm having all my friends come over and be like, that's me, that's me,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
I'm just excited about it because I love it,
Yeah.
And so I think having that mentality of like, oh my God, I just can't even believe I got this meeting and like just being grateful and excited and surprised every
Yeah.
time instead of like, yeah, but it's no big deal. Like, well, then you're telling the universe it's not a big
Yeah,
deal. So
exactly.
it's just going to give you things that aren't a big deal. But when
Yeah.
you're stoked about them, it all just kind of unfolds for you and works for you in a perfect way. And so I
Yeah.
think a lot of that is like your mindset and your attitude towards it all that really played in your favor too.
Yeah. I think so. And I think a lot of the people that I like graduated high school with that wanted to pursue acting and have gone on to do other things at like I remember talking to a lot of them at the time and like I mean I got made fun of a little bit when I was, that
Hmm.
tail end of high school because I was missing school to drive to Austin to go audition to be have one line in a local commercial. And I was like, and I think for a lot of people it's this way. Like a lot of people see acting and they talk about this statistic like 1% make it as an actor or whatever. Like I think it's because so many people go into like acting with this expectation that it's going
Hmm.
to happen so quickly or
Hmm.
you'll start auditioning and then you'll book a series regular on something. Like it's a long grind for most people. I
Yeah,
know from experience and I think it's not a matter of like the industry rejects so many people. It's just that like so many people give up because their expectations of what the industry is are incorrect. And
100%.
like I said, like a lot of people that I graduated with wanted to be actors and I'm sure that they're very happy doing what they're doing now, but I think, it's like it didn't come to them and they didn't know how to either know how to navigate it or for whatever reason and now they're doing other things, but it's a when you don't have a guidebook, it's really just kind of like you got to
Hmm.
go with your gut and hope something good happens. And I mean,
Hmm.
I very well could have, had I not booked that movie in Dallas where I had 6 lines, I who knows where I'd be right now because that
Right.
set off a chain of events that led me here.
It's so true. And I have a funny story. So I was cleaning after the whole debacle of the podcast not being able to download on my computer. I had to clear up
Yeah.
all this disk space. So I was going through my emails. I found an email from an old acting teacher, my very first one in LA. I was 19 years old, maybe 20 at the time. And it was bad vibes all around. It was my first LA experience.
Mhm.
And when I said I was like done with the class, I wasn't coming anymore, they literally harassed me. And in one of the emails, it said, if you love basking in your loser, pathetic identity, then don't come to class on Saturday. Like, and it was so mean. And something within me was like, hey, fuck you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I was just like, I wrote back, I was like, do not ever speak to me like that. I am not coming back to this class. And like, I was laughing reading it because I was like, thank God I had it somewhere in me to go, okay, I'm just going to go somewhere else. Or
Yeah.
like, another girl or young person or man would have gone, oh my God, I can't be here. I need to go home. This is
Yeah.
terrifying. And it's like that have is like back to what you say, like there's people who wanted to do it, but they didn't have the guidebook. They didn't have this. But some of us, we don't have that guidebook, but we have this like inner fire that's just like, no, this is what I want. I'm gonna make it happen. And if this
Yeah.
person's in my way, then they can get the fuck out of it and I'm gonna make the
Sure.
path for myself. And but it's crazy, like I thank God that like something came over me to go, okay, I'm just gonna go to another class instead of pack my bags up and be like, okay, LA is too scary, I'm out.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it led me to where I am now. The acting class that I switched to, I have been friends. Those people are my best friends for the past 12 years. And it's like, well, thank God that that woman was a psychopath.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. It's really weird how things work out. Like it, and I continue to be amazed by that. I mean, there's so many like things I got close on and I didn't book, or
Hmm.
like different people I meet during it. Like there's so many random things that happen that end up coming back around in some way,
Right.
that it's constant. Like there's things that you look back 2 years realizing that that set off some chain of events that's led to something happening here, and
Hmm.
it's an interesting industry.
Was there ever a moment where you were like, okay, this is like, I don't know if I could keep doing this. Did you
No,
ever have that?
no, honestly, I think
Hell yeah.
I like I've just never it's never even been a thought. And I don't say that in like this like, oh, I'm so dedicated to my craft thing. It's like almost like separate from, like I don't see it in my head as like an occupation at all, like
Right.
or anything. Like it's like not a, even if I'm, I'm a working actor, I guess. Like I've
Hmm.
just did something, but like I've got three jobs. Like I work outside of it, and like I pay my rent with money that I make other than doing my acting stuff. Like
Right.
I'm like it's never been in my head as like it's not working out. I got to switch career fields to make my
Right.
living. It's
Right.
just kind of like I'll do it. I'll figure out a way to sustain the rest of my life so I can continue to do this.
Yes.
Hopefully, things have been building up as my career has gone on to where like I'm hopeful that in some future I'll be able to have that be my main focus in life, and that's what I can do, and make, good money doing it and not have to do anything else. But
Right.
it's never been it's never ever been like an occupational thing for me.
Right.
It's what I do. And
Right. Well, yeah, and if you love something so much, you just want to do it. It doesn't matter what the outcome of it is. You just
yeah,
enjoy the process. You enjoy the entire journey from the audition to being on the set to meeting new people. Like it's really, yeah, I've had a couple of people ask me like, "What's your plan B?" I'm like, No, there's no plan
no,
B.
it's like I'm not,
This will always be a part of my life
it's, oh
because
yeah,
I love it."
it's weird to me when I hear people say they like quit at the, I'm like, I don't even comprehend how you really quit, because it's
Yeah,
not like, how much time is it taking up to like do a self tape here and there? Like it's
right.
it's not like it's taking up that much of my time to pursue this.
Hmm.
I book something, like I'm making enough to go do it, and it's fun, and I like, it's just a weird, yeah, I've never understood the like people being like, I'm done with this. And I guess it's a matter of like some people, and I know it was hard to adjust to at first, just like you're constantly auditioning and it's technically you're getting told no all the time. But I don't really see it that way either. It's like, well, I don't, like if I send out a tape and I don't hear back, it's just like, okay, I didn't hear back. Like
Right.
I don't ever, it's like I don't ever take that as like a no.
Right.
I feel like that can weigh on some people where it's like you're constantly facing rejection, but
Yeah.
I don't know, I've gotten used to it at this point. It's just kind of,
Yeah, I'm just excited to do something, because it's kind of like as an actor, you're not always acting. You
yeah,
kind of have to wait for the invitation for the most part. So I'm like, I'm just pumped that I get to be with a friend and work on a scene and laugh and
yeah,
fuck up and like help each other. And, you get to see different sides of your friends and it's like a hang. It's all about the
yeah.
hang for me. Do you like, a lot of people say like, oh, I hate auditioning. I love auditioning. How do you
I
feel
think
about
it's I think it's fun. Like I
Yeah.
don't, I wouldn't say like I love it, but
Yeah,
like,
obviously you rather be on set doing it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like no, I don't mind it at all. And I think it's really interesting for me because I started really auditioning when I was I think like 18. So this was
Hmm.
like 2018, I guess. Like, and I was like at first low budget stuff, they would do self tapes because they didn't have a room. So like I
Right.
was always sending in tapes when I was first starting out, and like I've really only ever done like 5 in-person audition things ever.
That's incredible.
Like so like I hear a lot of people complaining about self tapes, and like I'm sure I would have a different perspective if I had
Yeah.
started doing in-person auditions, but like it's always been virtual and doing
Wow.
tapes and Zooms and stuff. And so I enjoy it. And like one of my jobs that I work is I work at a self-tape studio. So
Amazing.
I sit there all day and I read with other actors, and that one that helps me like see what works and what doesn't for
Hmm.
self-tapes and auditioning. And like I also have access to a studio that I can use whenever I want to do my own
Right.
tapes. It's like a whole I enjoy the process. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, I wish they would just call me and say, "Hey, we saw your photo. Come be a series regular." But
Right.
it's not how it works.
Yeah, as someone with like anxiety, I love a self-tape because
Yeah,
I'm the type of person like just I would probably get to an audition like an hour and a half before, and then I have to make sure parking's okay, and then I'm like pacing like my energy is so much more calm going into self-tapes than in person
yeah,
because I'm so terrified about being late. Like it
yeah,
is my biggest I've tried to be late because I know the majority of my friends are not going to show up on time. And I'll
yeah.
take my time and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be the first one there. Always the first one there.
Oh,
Like it's something about like anxious time management where I'm like, nope, I have to like because I think if you're late, you're telling somebody that you don't give a shit
yeah,
about
for
their time.
sure. Yeah. I mean,
And
it's been the age-old thing of like
yeah.
when it comes to acting, it's like, if you're on time, you're late. Like I've been hearing that since
Hmm.
I was like 12 years old.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. So yeah, I think that's why I love self-tapes way more because you can just be more comfortable and you're not looking at somebody who's not even looking at you and you can't,
yeah.
but some people argue with that and they're like, you can't get a redirect and they don't get to see like your essence and like you can't get to know the personality of somebody. But like, I don't know. I think it's given me way more opportunities
Yeah.
than
I
being
think
in person.
I think so. And I also, from working at a self-tape studio, and I can only really speak from my own experience,
Hmm.
but like so much of that first round of casting is just like, do you have the look we're looking for? And are you a competent enough actor? Like,
Right,
thing is smart. They know that you're not getting any direction,
right,
but they're so much of that first round that I've found from working in a place like that is it's all about like, are you the right type that we're looking for? And if so, and you've shown that you can act, maybe you're not doing it how they want you to, but they know that you haven't gotten their direction yet. They will
right.
call you back, and that's when you do that. But I think a lot of people focus on like well, the we don't have any direction because we're going in and blind and all. I just don't. I have not found that that is the case from my experience.
Yeah. Now, was there a character growing up that like you were just like, that is exactly what I want to do? Like that's the kind of role I want to play.
Yeah, I mean, when I was like little, it was like Benny the Jet and the Sandlot. I've
Oh yeah, Sandlot.
but um,
I could totally see that. Like you have
that's
that look.
that was I really wanted to. I remember like when I first started theater, you had to answer that question on like a questionnaire, and
Mm.
but I think like for me, one that comes to mind is like Charlie and like Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Mm.
And like I think it's weird. I've realized as I've gotten older that like my look, I think it's because my features are darker. Like I go out for like this very strong, very confident, like sometimes assholey,
Oh,
like
same.
it's what I'm always going out for. Whereas like I love to play a more sensitive guy, like
Yeah.
a softer character, which I find helps because when I've been cast as those like rude or like assholey characters, I'll get on set and I hope I'm not that person at all in real life. And so
Hmm.
like Cruel Summer is the show that I did a couple years ago, and I was brought on to just be the asshole.
Yeah.
And then I got on set and I had one small moment in one scene where I was a little bit nice, and it played so well that they like called me into like a little meeting and we're like, we're gonna write to you and we're gonna give you this like redemption arc because we liked seeing the softer side of you. And
Yeah.
that's I feel like with Elsbeth, like that's my hope that I get a little I'm redeemed and I'm not such a
Yeah. Well, he had a little moment. He had a little
yeah,
moment and then he
little one
ruined
and then
it.
I
Yeah.
torpedoed. But I think a lot of characters like that growing up, of just like these, I think he's Charlie in Perks of Being Wallflower is a great one. It was just like, I remember watching it and just thinking similarly. I mean, I wasn't like a loser in school or anything, but like, I mean, everyone when they're like 15 years
You're more
old,
reserved.
you feel insecure and you're a little
Yeah.
reserved and you don't know what you're doing in life and what you want to do. And I just remember really connecting with that movie and just feeling seen. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like cheesy now, but like he's just like a nice character, and it seemed like a good character to play it, and
Yeah, no, I love that because I think that's what I think watching other TV shows and movies helps you realize parts of yourself that you didn't
yeah,
know were there. Because you're like, why do I have such like a visceral feeling? Or why am I getting choked up? Or why am I like getting goosebumps? Because you're like, oh, because I see myself in that. And like, I didn't know it was okay to feel that way. Or I
yeah,
thought I was the only person who felt that way.
yeah,
That's why I think like, entertainment is so important because it's very reflective.
yeah. I think so for sure.
Was there like a certain TV show? Like for me, obviously it's Friends. Like if I watch and quote Friends more than anybody in this world. It's either that or Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
And like when I first moved out here too, it was like all I had was a Boy Meets World box set. Like TV is my whole life. Like
yeah,
and I'm the type of person I'm like I think I'm the only one out of my friends who still has cable. Like I don't want to get rid of it. I want to
yeah.
support network television still. So what's the TV show for you where you're like, okay, it's been a long ass day. I just want to get in bed and watch my show.
I right now and for the past few years, it's probably been Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Mm.
Love Curb. I just think it's just such a funny the thought process of the writing in that show, which isn't even really writing. It's just like Larry David
Yeah,
improvising. But I think that's really good. For a long time growing up, like all through middle and high school, it was How I Met Your Mother. Like I probably watched How I Met Your Mother like 20 times over.
that's amazing.
And I think that that's a good show of like every emotion you could possibly feel, they talk about and like is
Hmm.
represented in that show. And so like that show I think really makes you feel seen at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. It's funny. I had a client yesterday and she's 20 and she was talking about like dating and like, you know, getting married and being single. And I'm like, okay, you're 20, but also like watch Friends.
Mhm.
Like, because all of them stay single and don't have like their respective careers until they're in their mid to late 30s. It's
Yeah.
like these sitcoms, they feel like a guidebook sometimes, you're like, okay, so season two, they were 24, 25. Like, that's how old I am. They don't have anything figured out. So I guess I'm okay too. It was like the
Yeah.
standard. So I do love sitcoms like that. I have tried so hard to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I couldn't get into it. Everybody tells me to watch it, but I do want to continue to watch it because I would marry Ted Danson tomorrow.
I do love Ted
I
Danson.
love him so much. He is
I
just like the most endearing, cute man, and just his comedic timing and his mannerisms are just incredible.
Yeah, and he's great in Curb. He's
Yeah,
kind
I need to pick it up.
of but like that's I think it's just such a funny it's just the way that Larry David thinks to write that show, I think is what makes it so funny. Like it's the most mundane show ever. Like nothing really happens in any episode.
Yeah.
It's like the whole
So
like
it's like Seinfeld.
yeah, it's like the whole thing with Seinfeld where it's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
Um but it's just like I was watching an episode last night actually of it where it's like Larry David wants to go to a Dodgers game and he's in traffic, so he decides to use the carpool lane, but he doesn't have anyone with him, so he picks up a prostitute so he can take the prostitute with him to the game in the carpool lane. And then when he gets to the like it's just like all these random events that happen that
Yeah.
like his brain is just funny to me. Like and so I think it's a good sit there and not really think very much show.
Yeah. Just where you can turn off your brain, which
Yeah.
is what we all have to do at the end of the day. Now, I want to talk to you about the fact that you play six instruments.
Yes.
What six instruments are these?
I play the guitar, I play the bass, I play the piano, I play the drums. I'm like trying to teach myself the fiddle right
Oh
now.
my God.
Very difficult. It broke the other day. I need to get a new one. It's sitting in the corner over there, busted. I play the harmonica. I mean, I play like kind of like the offshoots of those instruments, like
Hmm.
play a little banjo. I can play some of the ukulele and stuff like that.
When did you have time to teach yourself how to, because this is a very self-disciplined type of like
Yeah,
hobby, I feel like you could take classes, but you have to be self-disciplined and like
yeah,
play and practice to be good.
for sure. I think when I was younger, kind of similar to like acting, I think the first time I really wanted to like learn guitar, which was like I was probably 8 years old, and I asked my mom for a guitar, and I remember taking lessons when I was probably 9 for like 2 weeks. And the guy, bless his heart, he was trying to teach me how to play guitar with sheet music, and it was really confusing for me. And I just like it wasn't working. So I quit and I like didn't touch a guitar until I was maybe like 12.
Hmm.
And my dad had always wanted to learn how to play the guitar and the piano. And so he came up with the idea of like, let's go to guitar lessons together.
Oh.
And so I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to know. Maybe this time will be different. And we went to this teacher. His name was Derek. And for once a week for about a year, me and my dad would go together to guitar lessons. And this guy was great. And he taught me in a way that made sense to my brain, where it was just
Hmm.
like, come in with some songs that you like. And if it's kind of the level that you're at, I'll teach it to you. And he would just kind of progressively teach you harder songs while discussing the basics of like what you're doing and the new chord shapes and stuff like that, which I thought was really, really helpful because I don't know how to read sheet music at all. I just kind of teach myself
Hmm.
my ear. And so I went there and kind of learned the basics and like the initial chords you need to play guitar. And then I kind of just knew that for, I don't know, like 5 years. Like I wasn't super super great. I remember I took piano lessons also for like 2 years, or not 2 years, 2 weeks, and the teacher was mean. I remember she kept doing this thing where it's like apparently when you play piano, you're supposed to like hold your hands like you're gripping tennis balls, she kept saying. Like, and I just like it did not feel right to me, and it was
Yeah.
sheet music again. It was just like learning little scale. I hated it.
Yeah.
So I quit that. Well, I didn't learn piano actually really until the pandemic. But I played guitar like I was like an intermediate guitar player for like 5, 6 years, and then I remember I heard Blackbird by the Beatles,
Hmm.
and I wanted to learn that, and it's a finger picking song, and I like took like a week and a half every day, spending hours trying to get that song down, and it's like weird chord shapes and stuff. And I just like liked how it felt to like really dig into like a hard song on guitar.
Hmm.
And so from there, I just kind of started teaching myself harder and harder songs, the same
Right.
way I like learned initially how to play guitar, and then like I consider myself, especially like I think I'm the best on guitar. Like I consider myself like an advanced guitar player
Yeah.
point. And it's just like I taught myself harder and harder songs. And then with the piano, my dad during the pandemic, he got a new house and he'd always wanted to learn the piano, so he bought a piano and he was still going to work. I was sitting at home doing nothing, so I just started doing the exact same thing with the Beatles music of just like trying to learn every Beatles song, and some of them are really easy, some of them are pretty hard, and I just kind of got better as I went along. And then at that point I was bored and I was like, let me start writing some songs. So I'd write songs and then I'd be like, well, if I want to write this song, it feels like I need some drums. And then I bought a little drum set and I then taught myself how to play the drums so I could play along to the songs that I had written. Same with the bass. It was like I need a bass line. Like, and so I kind of just filled out my own songs that I had written because I was bored and
That's
taught.
like a one man band.
Yeah, so I taught myself that way. And I think it's weird because like I'm not in any way like technically proficient and like I don't know scales, I don't know the music theory stuff. It's just like I feel like I've learned like tools and like my tool belt of like these instruments that
Hmm.
put together make me an advanced player in some of them, but I like if someone was like play a scale in G, which I feel like is a big thing for like especially guitar players, is knowing stuff like that. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I kind of love
Uh,
that though because I feel like the most incredible performers or musicians aren't because they're like the best technically. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's because they have relatable music or they know how to put on a show or they can play guitar or piano or these things, but they have it's like what they emote in those things
yeah,
and what they make you feel. I'm not listening to Taylor Swift going like that's a G chord. That's a, like I don't know what the fuck
yeah,
any of that means. You know what I mean?
exactly.
But yeah, and like I mean I grew up singing and I was the same way. I could never read music. It
No.
confused the shit out of me. I'm not a person who could go into like a choir and like just start singing. I'd be like, I have to hear it first, and I'm great at memorization. I'm great at like like if I hear something, okay, I could repeat that, but
Yeah,
I have no idea how to
yeah.
read music at
No,
all.
I have no idea. It's all just been by ear, and I like thank God that I have that ability to like
Mm-hmm.
I can
That's a
hear a
gift.
song
That's a
and I can
gift.
play it, pretty easily. Like it's I don't know. I think it's really interesting. And I get this question because like I like list myself as like a musician on everything.
Yeah, I tried looking for your music.
Yeah,
I was
I see myself as a musician because like I spend more time in a day playing music than anything else.
hmm
But it's really like it's a weird thing. I just do not have the gear in my head to like want to pursue a career
Yeah.
music artist. Like it's I love making music and I've written probably 200 songs now. I've fully gone into the studio, produced, played every instrument, like made the songs for a lot of them.
hmm
But I just like maybe one day I'll release it just for fun. I think I would if I was to ever do that, I'd like put it under a random name and just
Right.
to have it so I can listen to it. But I there's just no part of me that wants to like really put a bunch of energy into like being a
Yeah.
music artist.
But I think that's also like it goes back to like you just want to do something because you love it. Like
Yeah.
that's how I felt with like making music and singing too. It's like, well, this is the thing that like brings me peace
Mhm.
and makes me feel good. And I don't want that to become work. And like singing is such a part of me that like literally like I just lock myself in my apartment and just will sing songs like by
Yeah.
myself. I have a little Bluetooth mic. All my friends are like, she's doing karaoke by herself, but it makes me happy. And like
Yeah.
I don't want that to become something that then stresses me out. And like if you feel inclined to create something, then you just create it and you're
Yeah.
doing it because it makes you feel good and because you're using this side of your brain that you don't always get to use. So it's like yeah, we don't always have to produce things for other people. It could just
Yeah.
be for us, which is also very special.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always funny because like I said, I don't have any music anywhere. It's all like it's but I am a musician and I feel like so I always say I'm a
hmm
musician, but you're not gonna find the fruits of my labor anywhere.
Right. Right. Are your parents like super creative? Like you literally have, with
It-
acting and music and
yeah.
having that kind of self-discipline and like curiosity to be like, oh, well, I guess I could learn this. I guess I could learn this. Like, do you get that from your parents?
No, not they'll be the first person to say that. Like my mother is a lovely, lovely person, but she's a teacher. She doesn't know how to, she's never acted or, played
hmm
music. My dad is a finance director. He works in the car business. I think he's like very happy that I'm doing what I'm doing because he's like, I wish I could be doing that. Like
Mm,
growing up, I had always wanted to play music and do all these things. He just never, he grew up very, very poor and like he just had to work and didn't have
yeah.
time for that. And so he's very proud of me for like all the time he'll tell me like you're doing what I wish I could have been doing. So I think like he's a very creative person, but he just never really had that opportunity.
Right.
Um, but like both of them, neither of them are in the industry in any way.
hmm
And even like I remember for a long time they were always supportive of me, but like it was kind of oh Braeden, oh yeah, he wants to be an actor. That's nice. Like oh good job, Braeden. And then it like hit a point where I had done something serious and it was like oh wait, he's actually getting somewhere. Same with like music, where it was like oh yeah, he wants to learn how to play the guitar. That's nice. And then like I think I remember showing my mom a song that I had written and I'd like wrote all of it, produced it, played 7, 8 different instruments in it. And she was like, wait, you can actually do this. And it was, I don't fault them for that at all. It's just like they were not around that industry at all. And
Right.
I feel like you hear your kid, at 12 wants to be an actor. You're like, oh, that's sweet, like nice.
Right.
Same as like wanting to be an astronaut. Like you'll probably find something else. But
Yeah.
I stuck with it.
That's amazing. Now, being so young and kind of growing up, I would say like you're raised in Texas, but you grow up in LA. Like that's
Yeah,
how I feel about Vegas. Like I was raised there, but I really grew up to who I
for
am
sure.
by being out here.
Yeah.
Was there somebody who kind of did give you a guide map and really like help you while you were out here?
I mean, not really. And my cousin is Demi Lovato.
Oh.
And yeah, and so it's one thing that I think is really interesting and that I kind of I don't talk about a whole lot just because I think, I'm starting
Mhm.
my career and I kind of want it to
You want to be
focus.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Which she
understandable.
understands, but I think that the people that do know that, like especially a lot of people from my hometown, they infer that helped me or like
Mm,
that gave me a leg up. And I think that the discussion on nepotism is very present these days and things
right.
like that. But I know from experience, and I actually like bless her heart, my aunt, her mom the other day texted me just being like, I am so proud of you
Hmm.
for doing all of this on your own because when I was kind of really starting, it was at a time that was difficult for their family
Yeah.
and if anything, they were like wanting to keep me out of it. They heard it was something I was pursuing and did not. And I understand why, but like they did not want me
Hmm.
doing this because it was causing so much stress in their lives. And
Right.
so I feel like if anything, I had like less of a guide map. Not that I had anyone actively like pushing against me.
Yeah.
It was kind of like it felt like I should have a guide map. If like it felt like it
Yeah.
should be there because of what I was hearing, just like in the world, that seems like the
Hmm.
thing you'll have a leg up if there's someone in your family already in the industry. And it just wasn't there. Like I have the same relationship with her. Like me and her are very close, but like she's my cousin and it's like
Right.
it's the same relationship anyone has with their cousin where it's just it's not a working relationship where like I'm getting any benefit from it. And
Yeah.
so
No, I can 100% agree with that because there are plenty of people I know where their siblings or parents are in the industry and they wanted to pursue acting also, and it hasn't struck yet for them.
yeah,
And you would think like, oh, that's well, their sibling is this famous director, and why haven't they? And it's like because that's not always how it works. Like you're
yeah, it's just
on your
not
own path. Like
yeah,
yes, sometimes yeah, sometimes you're the Gracie Abrams, and
yeah,
JJ Abrams is your dad. But like other times, everybody's just on their own path. But also, I think that's amazing that like you made your own name for
yeah,
yourself. You carved the path for yourself. You stuck it out. You had the wherewithal to go, I'm going to make this happen for myself. And to have her encouragement is probably amazing. It gives you probably some validation of somebody who has been working
yeah,
for so long. But that's also something to be so proud of, to be like, you know what? Everybody thinks I had this handout, but guess what? I didn't. I worked my ass off and I'm
yeah,
here, which is so, it's not easy to be where you are either. So
yeah,
you had to work really hard. And I think that's really admirable.
for sure. Thank you. And I'm really I don't think until like my aunt had really said that I didn't really like reflect on that at all. Um,
Hmm.
but like I'm proud of myself for getting myself here, and I had a lot of help along the way. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm some
Right.
master of this, but
Right.
I think I'm happier that I didn't have a leg up than I would
Yeah.
if I did because I'm now where I am and I know I did it myself. Like the other day I had this moment like they increased my rent, which happens. Um and I was like, whatever, it's fine, I can afford it. And then I had this moment of like for the first time ever, I was like, I am 24 and I pay my own rent in Los Angeles. Like and I'm
Hell yeah. That is like, that
and
alone
I was
is
like,
like,
whoa, that's cool. Like I moved from Dallas, Texas to Los Angeles 4 years ago, and I have the means to pay my rent here because of my hard work. And
hmm
it was just like a cool moment. But I feel yeah, I feel like I didn't really have a guidebook, and I don't think there is a guidebook. Like I think
No, it's
I'm
always
sure,
changing.
yeah, like I feel, and I'm sure like I'm the first person to say I don't know what I'm doing really. Like I think that a lot of people my age and a lot of actors, when you get to a place where you are working, kind of you want to. I've seen a lot of actors kind of start spouting like a guidebook and like wanting to teach
Right.
people how to do things. And I'm sure as someone who does podcasts with people, you've experienced just like I don't think anyone's an expert on this. Like
Mm-mm.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I got here. I
I
just
don't even know what I'm doing with this podcast. Like even
yeah.
before the start, I was like, I'm so fucking nervous. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like what? And this, I've been doing it for 2 years. Like
Yeah.
you never feel like you
You
know what
never
you're
know.
doing.
And so I feel like so many people kind of give this impression that they've gotten it figured out and now they want to teach others.
Yeah.
I can tell you, go look for auditions,
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it, don't give up. That's what those are my two things. But like
Right.
I still feel very infantile in this industry, like
Yeah.
and very green. And like I'm still grinding away at it. So I'm in no position to tell anyone how to do things.
Yeah.
I feel like I meet so many people, and maybe it's just a part of being in LA, but you just meet so many people that act like they've got it all figured out and they want to teach you and they want to like bestow this knowledge upon you. And it's,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're
Or
doing.
almost act too cool, which I
Yeah.
feel like I am never too cool. I will always get excited about something.
Yeah.
Like even, and it goes back to the very beginning of like, I think the mentality that you have and the energy that you have of, I don't know everything. I'm just really grateful and excited to be here. I think that is again why things are flowing for you and why things are like, your the path that you carved out for yourself seems to be going smoothly. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is from the perspective of having the gratitude and excitement. And I do think that like, with talks, sorry, I know you have a hard out at 12:50. I'm trying
You're
to
all
wrap
good.
this.
We're
Okay.
all good. Keep
Okay.
going. I'm probably good till one.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
tell me when to shut up.
Yeah. You're good.
But I think with how the industry is right now, so many people are talking very negatively, but like, oh my God, it's so slow and production's moving here and this and that. And it's so like, while some of those things might be true, it's so important to also block out because it's like your path is your path, your story is your story. If it's slow for somebody else, okay, don't take on that energy. Like
Yeah.
I constantly, like I work in a salon where a lot of our clientele are people in the industry. And I hear a lot of people who've been in this business for 20 plus years and not going through a great time right now because of, lack of jobs. But I'm like, I have to tune it out and go, okay, that's not my story.
Yeah.
Like, that's not mine. And I'm still going to get really excited if I'm going to get an audition for Mom in Elevator. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I think that mentality is what keeps people out here and what is so important to just hold on to so that you don't get lost.
Yeah. I agree completely. It's just because for me, it's kind of going back to like me not seeing it as like an occupation. Like I
Hmm.
get the slow period in the industry right now, but I've got other ways to I will make things work. Like I'll ride it out and I'll be okay, you
Right,
know.
right, right.
But a lot of people I feel like are really, they've put all their eggs in that basket. And so now
Yeah.
it's causing them a lot of anxiety because things are slow. Um,
Right,
but I
right.
don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll get a fourth job if I need to, you know, like
Exactly.
I'll make it work.
Exactly. Now, what are some other things in your life that keep your life super full outside of acting?
I mean, music again is just really,
Hmm.
I play a lot of music. I feel like I'm a pretty social guy. I love a good meal. I'm a big,
Mm, me too.
I like to eat and like, I just like, I don't know. I have my whole group of friends. We will like research the new restaurant. We're a big foodie group, so finding a
Yeah.
nice meal is a big thing for me. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Just like sleeping, working. Working is a big thing. Like I am not good at just like sitting doing
Hmm.
nothing. So like that's why I probably don't need to have three jobs, but I don't like sitting at home and doing nothing. Like I enjoy having to squeeze someone into my schedule because I have so much work. That makes
Right.
me feel productive. And it's like I'm in my 20s. I feel like I can rest when I'm dead. I
When you're
will work
34.
when I'm 34. Like I will work and fill my days with whatever I can for now because
Yeah.
I'm young and I can.
Yeah. Oh, what do you have coming up next?
All right now I've got is hopefully, Elsbeth season 3.
Yeah.
They've indicated that they'd like me to come back. Um,
Yeah, I think you will.
so,
I think the dynamic is too good not to. And they
yeah,
set you up perfectly. I
yeah.
think it was really fun to watch that.
Thank you. No, it was fun for me. I usually really don't like watching my stuff, but this was like the first thing that I watched it and I was very happy with.
Proud.
I think it's
Yeah.
because it was so maybe it's because I have a beard. I had never grown a beard before. So like it almost looked like I was watching someone else. But like and I was playing such an asshole that
Hmm.
like it was easy to like really feel like I'm watching something else. But I really enjoyed watching it. I thought it was good. It played really well. And everyone
Yeah.
that I talked to thought it played well, so I'm hopeful I'll be back.
Yeah, yeah. Did you, I mean, I have this problem when I watch a new show. All I do is look on IMDb the whole time, be like, wait, how do I know that person? How do I know that person? How do I? And I remember right when my parents were watching it, I was like, oh my God, she was on True Blood. Like I love, did you ever watch True Blood?
I didn't watch True Blood, but I had people
Great
after
show.
I did the show being like, "Oh wait, that's she's from True Blood."
Great
Yeah,
show. Also, this, like you talking about guitar, this is like going way back, but there's an episode. It's called The One with the Resolutions because that's how crazy I am with friends that I know the titles.
yeah,
But Joey wants to learn how to play guitar. You have to watch this episode because it's literally about how, like, the way Phoebe's teaching him, he's like, I can't do this. So he goes to
yeah,
find another teacher. And it was so spot on to like what you were saying that you have to watch it. And it's
yeah.
also like I think it's like the first episode of season 5 or second episode, but you have to watch it because you'll be like, this is literally how I learned how to play guitar.
For sure. I will look at it. No, because it was yeah, I tried multiple different things, different instruments. I just realized now I can't read sheet music. I can't learn it that way. So
Yeah.
people have
Well,
different ways.
this was amazing. I'm so glad that we got to meet.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll run into me, you, and Cam will run into each other on a
Yeah,
random day because that's always how it goes.
I think so.
But it was so nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Again, your energy and your mentality and like just the gratitude you have for the little things, I think is such a big lesson for people to take away from this conversation.
Thank you. I hope so. I think it's just a matter of trying to have a positive outlook.
Yeah, yeah, it is. All right. Have a great day. It was
Thank
so
you.
nice meeting you.
It's
And
great to meet you
fingers
too.
crossed for Elspeth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.